wants to do that.
Welcome to the Wednesday edition of the Dark Mushroom Media Cast. As always,
no one's watching you right now.
As always, I have Tim and Jose, and we changed up our graphic a little bit. Put the logo there in the center, and thought we'd start advertising our Twitter
boys,
our Twitter handle.
No, fuck Mulligan. We're taking that site. We're running that shit.
Well, our Twitter, God damn it, I almost said it again. Our Twitter handle is up at the top for the Dark Mushroom Media Cast. Please feel free to follow us there. Enough plugs. Let's jump in to the news. Tim, take it away.
All right, let's start off with something expected. EA closing down a few free-to-play games. Most of these free-to-play games came out in like the early 10s. Is it just 10s when you say that? You know, it's like 20s, 30s.
People know what you're saying.
Just say 10s, just say that.
Just 10s.
Yeah,
shitty
sure.
old Battlefield games. Battlefield Heroes, Battlefield free-to-play. And apparently there was a Need for Speed and FIFA free-to-play game EA had going by the name of Need for Speed World and FIFA World. All these games will be taken down come mid-July. What kind of surprised me about all this was Star Wars The Old Republic, which I've read about it being a shitty game, just I've read about it not doing terribly well. Apparently is continuing to grow, and EA is just going to be putting a bit more attention and effort behind that and kind of shedding off the dead weight of some of these older games.
Well, they transitioned over to a free-to-play model, correct?
Yeah, they did for I think it was like 6 months. It might have been a year, but it felt like 6 months or so. They did the subscription-based thing and then transferred over to free-to-play.
What kind of model are they using for that? Does anybody have any idea?
I think it started off with a pretty shitty model, and then they kind of shifted it over to having all the content available to you, and most of it just being cosmetic and shit like that.
Okay.
But I think at first there was like locked content, because I remember there being a big hubbub about that on the interwebs.
A big hullabaloo?
A big hullabaloo. That word needs to make a comeback.
People got their jimmies rustled.
They did.
Yeah. Well, that's a thing that does happen in the gaming community. Tim Blevins.
But I didn't actually. Ironically, like a few months ago, a friend tried to get me to play Battlefield Heroes, but I haven't actually played any of those free-to-play Battlefield games. I did play most of the series, just not any of the free-to-play ones. I don't know if you guys had or not. Well, more Palmer.
Well, no, I haven't played Battlefield Heroes. Why do that when games like Battlefield 4 are so good?
Yeah, I mean, even going back to something like Bad Company 2, especially when these games came out, Bad Company 2 was still a very popular thing.
It still is a very popular
Well, yeah,
thing.
but I'm saying this was, 2011, 2012, before Battlefield.
That's the game that plays like Team Fortress, right?
No, I don't. No, I'm pretty sure it plays like Battlefield, but it just has like cartoony characters.
Yeah.
Oh.
I think it plays like older Battlefield though, if I remember correctly.
I guess you could say it kind of has a TF2 look about it in the cartoony aspect, though.
Okay.
Maybe that's what you were trying to convey with your brand.
Maybe.
I know nothing.
Maybe.
John Snee.
Yeah, Gene Snee.
Oh wait, I do remember that. No, I do remember like a trailer for the game, and it did showed off the whole destructible environment feature that they were like really pushing with their engine.
Okay.
All right.
That's it.
Okay.
It showed a bunch of dudes blowing up a building.
For Battlefield Heroes?
Heroes, yes.
I don't know. Didn't they release Battlefield Heroes like right before or right around the time that Battlefield 3 was like getting ready to come out?
I think it was
like a lot of people didn't.
Before.
Yeah, like it didn't make a lot of sense to a lot of people because they were like, well, Battlefield 3 is right around the corner. Why would I play this? And it was also done so at a time when like free-to-play models were like, I mean, they're still shat on pretty regularly, but free-to-play models back in that point when that first released were like shat on, like mounds of shit were just all over the face of these free-to-play games, and
I think that's still there though.
I don't know. I feel like
even
people
more
are
so than
starting
before
to
that,
drop
even
their
back
guard. Yeah, well, yeah, definitely more so back then. I feel like people were tempted to kind of stray away, whereas now, there have been a couple really successful, actually free-to-play games, and it's changed things around a bit, I guess. At least my perception of free-to-play games personally has become a little less negative, not as much. I'm still very skeptical, but I'm not like immediately 100% like just get the fuck out of here, like fuck you, skedaddle type of nonsense. I don't know.
I don't know. I really think it's just as bad as it was, if not even more so, honestly. Not so much because, at least it's in the attention, not so much because the systems are still, or like as fucked or more fucked back then. It's just that there's so many more free-to-play games releasing on a consistent basis than there were back in like 2011, even 2012.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're literally rolling out like on a weekly, a dozen a week or some shit like that. I read an article about honestly like a dozen free-to-play games releasing a week for, I think it was like the month of January or some shit.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I still think it's very much a thing, but it's more because there's just so many of them than there were years ago, than them being shittier years ago.
I don't know. Like I think there's like interesting points to it though. Like for instance, like something like Warframe. I never would have tried that before Dota. Like I never would have been willing to even consider giving a game like that a shot. And I did because like I had such a good experience with Dota, and then you turn around and said it wasn't a bad model. And I mean, it wasn't for people that actually really want to play the shit out of that game. I guess it doesn't really affect you. It's just a matter of seeing how much you're willing to grind, I guess. I don't know. I mean, like, I feel like before games like Hearthstone and before games like Dota came out, like people were very hesitant to jump onto free to play if it wasn't on a mobile platform. And now I feel like that some of that stigma at least has gone away, but I could be incorrect in that perception.
Yeah, because I think my main experiences with free-to-play models were specifically for mobile. I didn't have a good enough PC to play a lot of even like really low graphics intensive games, which a lot of free-to-play like MMOs were.
Yeah, because you just finished your rig recently, right?
Yeah. Before I had like a
year ago now.
Yeah. So I'm catching up on like AAA kind of like hotshot games, but before that I just played on my tablet, and it was the same free to play model. Kind of the base game, but if you want to do anything at all in the game, you need to throw in a few shekels, here or there, and then it adds up.
I kind of come from the opposite end of that. I never really fucked around with mobile gaming until I got like my first Kindle a few years ago. Like until like 2012, I never really fucked around with a tablet or cell phone or mobile game at all, aside from PSP back in like 2005 and shit. But that's kind of like a whole nother monster because that was like a console handheld thing as opposed to a mobile thing.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like mobile, I was always a lot more adventurous. Like if a lot of people said, hey, check this out, like it's a free game and yeah, there's microtransactions in it, but like just give it a shot, like before mobile I don't think I ever even considered it, but I like mobile made me a lot more adventurous, I guess, because I was always more interested in seeing what kind of experimentation existed in that platform, especially when like touch screens were like first starting to really become a thing. Like a lot of the early iPhone games and a lot of the early Android games
back in that time frame, it was like a wild west.
Yeah, dude, absolutely.
But then every game since like I don't know, for the last couple of years on mobile, they've essentially adopted the same pay model. There's no game that it'll have like it'll be completely different from another one, but it'll at its core it's still the same. Hey, you've played X amount of hours, buy a gold coin to do something else, or you've done all you can with your free locked minutes per day. Like I don't know at what point everyone decided that was the model that they were going to go with. It doesn't make any sense. And I love playing on my mobile. I just love going to like the Google Play Store, hitting like top game this week or this month, and then just checking it out. And they all have the same model. It's like free to a certain point, and then you want to play any little more, that particular day you have to pay for crap. And it's annoying.
I don't know. That seems to be like the whole idea though behind free to play games.
Have ads in them,
Yeah, it's just standard.
Monetized in some way.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like I feel like that, like the whole like mobile business platform is specifically designed on, all right, let's create the most addictive thing we possibly can, no matter how stupid it is, and then turn around and charge people for it left and right. Like, we'll hook them in and then like you know, get them to pay for it. I mean, I don't know. There's something to be said about that model. I mean, it certainly is more likely to make developers more money because there's never a stopping point for them to receive it. You know, it's you can always come out with more shit and have more people pay for that. And I don't know. There were a couple mobile games that did it right though. Like back in the initial phases of everything. Like even like some of the really stupid ones. Like what was it? There was like one mobile game, I can't remember the name of it right now, but like the whole point of it was to fucking take paper balls and flick them into a basket.
Oh, Paper Toss, man.
Yeah. Fucking Paper Toss, dude. Like that game, you didn't have to pay a cent for that shit. And that was like one of the... I played so much fucking Paper Toss.
It's a great... Just fucking put yourself in a zombified state of mind and you gotta do something for 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Shit.
I mean, like that's where I got my start with the whole free-to-play thing, and I think that's how I eased myself into it, was playing shit like that and being like, okay, this is actually fun, you know. But I feel like the whole landscape of gaming is shifting over to that model. I really don't think... I don't know how much longer we're going to be able to watch games charge, you know, $60 and then turn around and have the ludicrous amount of microtransactions they have in them, especially since like I personally don't have a problem with it when it's stuff that doesn't affect the game, but like I don't know, there's a bunch of stuff like take Evolve's fucking system and the way they treat DLC and everything. I mean, like, you're never gonna stop paying for that game if you actually like that game, you know, and they charged you $60 for it right off the bat. So I don't know.
It was a free-to-play game that launched at a $60 price tag.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, it's like it's one of those things where I feel like everybody's trying to figure out the field right now, and unfortunately, the bottom line for AAA's is it's about money. It's that they have to see some sort of return on their investment, and they have so many. It takes so much money to make a fucking video game these days that, like, you know, it's just not... There's
a AAA
you're
game,
stupid.
not a video game in general.
You're almost stupid if you don't do it. In terms of, like, offering...
A lot of the money that Tim's talking about really is just marketing for the game. I mean, I don't think there are millionaire, you know, background artists for games, you know. The money's not really going to, like, the coders or the artists. It's going towards, you know, ads on television and YouTube and all that.
I feel like we just started having two different conversations.
Did we?
Feels like it.
What was the original topic?
I don't know.
I don't know either. Weren't we talking about like free-to-play games, and then we were talking about like how we got into them? We're
responded
it makes
to what
sense. Don't
Tim
even
said about how it takes too much money to launch a AAA game.
I didn't say that. I said I didn't say anything. I've said nothing like that or anything at all.
You rewind.
I just don't
It takes a lot of money
even
to launch a AAA game.
Check the tapes.
Yeah, that's we were
What I was
talking
saying
about
is
why
it
the
takes
free-to-play
so much money
model.
Palmer was saying it takes a lot of money to make video games nowadays, and I was saying not necessarily. Like, I think now, like nowadays, in comparison to any other time in fucking video game history, is the easiest time to create a video game.
No.
AAA games take a lot of
It's
fucking-
easy. It's easy to make an indie game. All you need to know is like how to code the game, and then like have some sort of basic like level of understanding of like game development and stuff.
Right.
And like I'm saying on an ambitious level, like doing truly next generation graphics, taking the time to find voice actors, doing motion capturing, like these really ambitious AAA games. Those cost a lot of money to make.
Oh yeah, no argument to there.
So I mean, like that's why I think everybody's moving over. Like at least a lot of AAA developers are starting to move over to the free-to-play model because of the fact that they can continue making a profit versus, you know, all right, well, we charge you $59. How else are we going to get money from you for the next 3 years while we develop a new game? Like, it's unfortunate.
Back in the day, they used to just put out, you know, good DLC with actual content behind it, but that's kind of fading into.
Come on, there are people that still do that.
Oh, absolutely, but it's really fucking, as a whole, it's starting to kind of shit the bed, honestly.
Yeah, yeah. No, I agree with you there. But anyways, Battlefield Heroes. Sad to see that go. I guess none of us played it, but I'm sure there's gonna be somebody out there that's legitimately depressed.
Yeah, someone has to be annoyed that they dumped like thousands of hours into that game and now it's just gone.
But that's what's gonna happen with every multiplayer game. Like eventually, somewhere down the road, Dota 2 servers aren't gonna exist anymore. It's gonna be like 13, 14 years from fucking now.
Skynet's gonna take that over. That shit'll exist long after humanity.
Maybe it's gonna be the
Dota
roaches
will
and
still exist.
Dota servers are just trolling the earth. They live longer than roaches and stuff. Yeah, that'd be
One of those StarCraft robo bitches just running Dodo servers
oh, jeez Louise.
for bots, just bot gaming. It's a legacy humanity will leave behind.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Well, what else do we have?
Oh, we got some additional Killing Floor info, which is coming out in less than a week now, and I'm actually getting pretty hyped for this because it's fucking Killing Floor.
Yeah.
I was actually kind of surprised with the minimum system requirements.
They're pretty low.
Yeah, they're pretty low. I thought it'd be at least a quad-core processor, but no, any what is it, dual-core 2.6 gigahertz will actually run the game.
Yeah.
Kind of surprising.
Well, I mean, it's only running on like what, Unreal 3? It's not.
Yeah, but it's running on a pretty modified Unreal 3. Like I watched like an hour-long developer video about them explaining all that shit, and the way it works with like Killing Floor, when you load it into it, like everything was just loaded, and with that was the way they worked with that Unreal Engine that they worked with. With Unreal 3, it can kind of procedurally load itself as you like run around and like move around through the level. So that's why it's not as demanding. Like if you look at Killing Floor 1, if you look at the minimum system requirements from like 2010 to now, they have jumped up a bit just with all the fucking events and little bit of retextures they did here and there and just little shit like that. It added up over time. Because you had to load the whole fucking thing. But
do you happen to know what the min system requirements were at launch for the original Killing Floor? That'd be interesting.
Not much. I'm pretty sure it was like fucking 128 megabytes of video RAM.
Because that was on Unreal 2, right?
Yeah, heavily modified Unreal 2. Tripwire loves modifying that fucking engine.
Hey, I mean, it's a real easy engine to work with, apparently.
It looks good. Well, Killing Floor 1 still looks okay, but Killing Floor 2 looks fucking good. So.
Killing Floor 1, the weapon models still look really good.
Well, if you pop into some modded servers where they, community added a bit of up textures and shit, it looks good.
Yeah,
still,
yeah.
Kind of, maybe, sort of.
I don't know. I'm excited for it. I think it's good that they do a lower system requirement. It allows more people to play the game. You're talking about Tripwire, which its last fucking 2 big games, 3 big titles were all done using Unreal 2. So I mean, like their player base is based, is got to be using older technology. So the more people they can get from that initial player base is going to be like ready, to play 2. I mean, as long as they can migrate over and they don't have to upgrade their rigs too much.
I think with Red Orchestra they built their own engine. Just a little tidbit. I'm pretty like 99% certain.
Are you sure?
Like that? Yeah, that wasn't using Unreal. I'm like 99% certain they built their own engine for that.
Oh, well,
but
never mind.
Killing Floor. No, you're still right. I mean, the Killing Floor engine worked for them and held up over years and years of modding and just trying to break that game and fucking dildo bats and just all sorts of weird shit in that game.
Like it's funny because like when I was playing it, man, like there was a lot of people who were messaging me like, how the fuck, like, and it showed me how many people are like actually excited for Killing Floor 2, like how many people are ready to play that game. And I'm really excited to be able to jump in. I jumped in Killing Floor 1 like way late. Like I didn't even know that game existed until like 3 years ago. So I'm really excited to jump into this game like with everybody else at launch, like ready to play it, so I can actually like really learn the nuances of it and have fun with it. I mean, it was hard to find. Well, it's not really that hard to find games, but like there was a lot of like bullshit I had to deal with when I got ready to first start playing the first Killing Floor. So I mean, like like finding servers. Remember all the bullshit, Tim? Like how impossible it was for us to connect to the same fucking game half the time.
Yeah.
Like so I
What do you
mean,
mean?
That didn't really. That was weird because it didn't really exist back in like 2010, 2011. Like that was a thing that just cropped up a few years ago.
yeah, like
whenever me and Palmer tried to play, like at least like half the time, fucking we wouldn't be able to connect to each other's games, or one of us would get kicked, or just weird shit.
yeah,
where,
just
like,
stupid shit. And so like the fact that like I'm jumping in and like you're jumping in, and Jose, are you in on this, by the way? Or are you?
Oh hell yeah!
Okay, sweet. So the fact that we're all gonna jump in, I get the feeling this is actually gonna probably end up being the first fucking game we end up streaming, because all three of us like really want to play the shit out of this. Well, then we have to do Muffin Night like literally the night before.
24-hour Muffin Night
to celebrate Killing Floor 2. How many viewers? Oh man, dude, like I would just eat a fucking bullet after 24 hours of Muffin Nights.
To be fair, if we did blow our heads off on stream, we'd probably get some followers out of it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Got to think ahead with no head.
Some black metal band would just use our pictures as their fucking
black
album
metal.
covers.
Mayhem for the win.
Yeah, dude. But yeah, I don't know. Seems like a lot of fun. Really excited to play that game. Glad the specs aren't egregious.
Yeah, even the recommended. It's only recommended for 4 gigs of RAM. I can't remember the last time I saw a game that looked, as decent as this one come out where it was only half a gig. Jesus, 4 gigs of RAM.
No, well, hold on. Don't like I got some choppy frame rates. On one map in particular, there was like a lot of like snow and stuff going on outside, and whenever there was a lot like a huge wave of Zeds like in one area, I would get a little bit of slowdown. So I mean, I think there's a lot of like effects and stuff that can be kind of manipulated to allow a wide range of people to play the game, but there are a lot of high-end options. So I don't know.
It's like playing Killing Floor 1 with the Aliens mod, where like 1,000 of them would just be dumped on the map, and even though like your rig would be able to run 1,000 instances of Killing Floor, you'd get like 3 frames a second of just aliens slowly swarming at you. It's great. would get swarmed again.
Yeah, I can't wait for the user mod stuff. They still have they said anything about that yet?
No, I don't imagine we'll hear. Honestly, I'm sure we'll start hearing of some stuff like a week after its launch, but I don't imagine until like the developers like actually full on release it and give people access to everything that they'll be able to pop out anything. I'm not even certain if they're releasing the SDK right off the bat. I think it's something we've talked about in the past on the cast.
Yeah, I'd be very surprised if they did. But anyways, yeah, really excited, super duper hyped, all the hype train, conducting. I'm in, boys.
I'm pretty sure, I don't know, but I'm pretty sure you need a 64-bit operating system. Just a quick thing to point out. I think nowadays most people have 64-bit, but there might be some 32-bit users that will run into issues because apparently it's not supported. But again, I think nowadays most people have 64-bit operating systems. At least if you have Windows 7, I would imagine. I don't.
Is that because it's using DirectX
9000?
11?
Well, I think 32-bit also like limits the amount of memory allocation that can go towards one program. I think you can only actually have 4 gigabytes of memory going to one program. So it won't even run a lot of modern games. Well, at least like triple higher end games like at all. At a decent frame rate, no matter like how low the settings are. Like you want to run Crysis on that thing, like good luck. Yeah, it limits it, I believe. I don't remember if it might be 8 gigabytes, but I think it might be 4. I don't know. We'll see.
I don't know. Yeah. Fuck. Now I'm gonna be pondering that. It's 4. It's one of those two. It's 4 or 8. I know that. I just couldn't put my finger on which one. Anyway. Yes, Killing Floor 2 system requirements not much lower than I expected, but yeah, as Palmer pointed out, that's a good thing because not everyone has a holy shit rig or even close to it. So the fact that they'll be able to play this with like a dual core processor and a kind of mediocre video card is a very good news.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's move on to Squad, which is a game that was made by the dudes who did the it was a Battlefield 2 mod. What was it called? Project Reality. It's one of the more popular Battlefield 2 mods. Basically, Squad looks to be a 100-player server insurgency, which that alone kind of has my interest piqued, and I'm going to be keeping tabs on this. But the way it works is, I think the way the teams are set up are each team has a set number of squads of 9 players in each squad. So, like, you know, you would have your own little TeamSpeak thing, and I think your commander would talk to, like, the commanders of the other squad, and you would coordinate and attack and do shit that way. In theory, it sounds like it would make for some really fucking awesome game, but then when you actually put this shit into practice and play these games, you find that most of the time the cooperation and communication just isn't there. But
100? Do you mean 100 players total, or do you
100
mean
player total? 100
Okay,
players
okay.
total.
So like 50 on 50 then.
Right.
That's pretty. What's the engine they're using for that?
Unreal 4?
Really?
Yes.
Oh.
Wasn't there a 360 game that did the same thing? It would split it up. It split you up into like little groups, and then you'd have skirmishes.
There was a
on the same map.
PS3 game. Fuck, it wasn't Killzone. It was a first-person shooter where it was touted as being... You know what I'm talking about,
It was
Palmer?
done by Zipper Interactive.
It was
Or
touted as
something?
being like 100-player battles, but really it was just broken down into like smaller segments with like 8 on 8 or 12 on 12 or whatever.
Was it a Tom Clancy game?
No, it wasn't. It was a PS3 exclusive.
Mag.
Mag, yes.
Mag.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, that's kind of what it sounds like it could be, except a little more realistic. Mag wasn't very realistic. But yeah, if it's along the lines of Insurgency, I don't know, that could be interesting. That also could be one of those situations where there's just way too much bullshit being fired at you, and it's hard to live through anything.
Yeah. I love that, though. That's Verdun times a million. Please
I
give
guess, yeah, that's really what it is, though. I don't know, with the kind of fucking artillery and weaponry you could have in a modern war setting, like, everybody just dies left and right, like, over and over again.
Isn't the whole charm of Insurgency the fact that you're just a small squad taking on waves of...
I guess, yeah, you could say that's a certain charm to it. I love it because it's pretty painfully realistic and less kind of run and gunny like Counter-Strike is.
But they're already like realistic
Oh, absolutely.
war games like that already do 100 players or at least close to it.
Name one?
What's the game that DayZ mod came out for?
H1Z1?
Arma?
Wait,
Arma.
Arma.
Oh, Arma.
Yeah, Arma.
Yeah,
Crazy,
Arma's
but-
like the flagship.
Do they do 100 people, though? I don't think they do 100 people. I think they're
No,
60.
Arma. I know.
Aren't they
I'm
64?
pretty sure they have modded servers where they have like 128 people, if I'm not mistaken.
But that's like a modded thing. That's
yeah,
like
it's like a
user,
modded like RPG.
That's user side, like out off the bat, like true Arma matches. I don't think take place with 100 people. I could be wrong on
no,
that. But
yeah, they typically don't.
their engines are like really good. It'd be kind of hard to render all that.
I mean, I've seen Arma gameplay videos of like giant, like 200-player battles and shit, but I think your standard run-of-the-mill thing is probably more along the lines of like 64 or something like that, like along the lines of like Battlefield. I think, obviously with completely different gameplay, but I'm saying just player-wise and the way the thing.
Oh no, actually, apparently the limit's. Well, yeah, the limit's 100. I don't know. There's apparently servers that run up to 250 fucking 6 players though.
Yeah, a lot of those servers are just like role-playing or like weird fucking weird shit. But yeah, you can't have that many people. But this is just a strictly squad is strictly just a squad.
They have
shooter thing.
60. The official hosted servers are 60 versus 60, so it's 120.
But yeah, squads basically. I guess you could say kind of be like that. But with Arma, it's kind of a pain in the ass because there's like a button to fucking every goddamn motion you could make with your body. There's a button for, and it just kind of gets fucking. Unless you like really sit down and invest time in that game, it's really not something you pick up and play every couple months just because there's too many fucking buttons. Honestly, it's
Yeah,
it's
it's
a
a game you need to
asinine.
continue.
Every few months, I'll maybe pop on it for 10 minutes and just be like, yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I'm
On
playing.
Arma.
Yeah. I do pop on it every once in a while for like 10 minutes. I'm like, no, Insurgency. I'm good. It's fine. until that fucking Halo mod comes out, then we'll all be in.
Yeah,
Zerg.
100% in. Maybe.
We won't be
Probably not.
Probably not. We won't be able to control ourselves.
Yeah.
And get frustrated and be like, this game sucks.
This is not what I hoped it was gonna be. Give me Halo, please. I don't know. Whatevs.
Last bit of news, a little more bundle news. Humble Bundle Origin. Oh fuck, Humble Origin Bundle 2. After almost
Origin Bundle.
Origin Bundle. After just shy of 2 years, it's the first one to finally come out. And it's doing pretty.
Has it really been 2 years?
Yeah, it was July 2015.
Wow.
So just about 2 years. But good selection of games. Had most of them, but I bought it anyway for fucking Plants vs Zombies and Medal of Honor.
Yeah, hell yeah.
But
yeah, it was totally worth it for
Zombies.
fucking Plants vs Zombies.
yeah, that game is it's just dumb fun.
Is it actually?
Yes. Yeah. Well, you know what it is? It's a dumbed down version of like Mass Effect 3 multiplayer. At least the Garden Ops mode is like the main mode, not the PvP thing. I haven't actually popped on that yet.
Okay.
But like the main Garden Ops mode is just fucking Mass Effect, but like with a cartoony, childish allure to it.
All right.
And it's got like the Call of Duty lobby like music playing.
Really?
Like when you're
Like some of the characters are fucking hilarious. There's
and
like
then it gets really cartoon.
There's
Yeah.
a flaming cactus. Jose was a Cheetos monster thing that ate zombies. Fucking, it's nonsensical and it's pretty great.
Huh. All right.
But
Yeah, I
right now
wanna
it's under
check it
$5 on humblebundle.com. We got in the dollar too. A lot of these games, EA did give away in the past like year, but you know, there's still some good stuff in here. As far as Steam keys goes, in the dollar tier, you get Dragon Age Origins and Dead Space 2. Dead Space 2, I literally just picked up like a week and a half ago when Steam was having a sale. Because I was like, well, it's been like 2 years since the Origin bundle. I doubt like that's gonna happen anytime soon. Being able to get bam. I'm not even mad though. I have 2 copies of Dead Space in my Origin account because they don't have. If you activate something you already have, you just get another copy of it. So
it is kind of stupid that they won't split off those keys. I mean, I get why they do it, but
yeah, I mean it's understandable. But at least don't give me duplicates to remind me what I did that games like years ago.
Yeah.
Tearing me apart, Lisa.
Lisa.
Dude, but it was like perfect for me, you know, because I'm just.
Oh
not
yeah,
getting
if you don't have like half of these games, like it's absolutely worth it.
Oh yeah. So let's segue into the talking about the speculated, or yes, that's the right word. The games that people think are coming up. The new ones.
The Speculum game.
Yes, the Speculum games.
Honestly, just all older kind of titles. SimCity 2000, which was shown in like a background graphic to one of the Humble ads, like the iconic like fucking front cover art. There we go, Tim. Jesus, that was shown. So I'm pretty sure that this picture I found is accurate, which showcases SimCity 2000, which Origin gave away, Wing Commander 3, which Origin gave away, Wing Commander 4, and the complete Ultima series, or at least 1 through 7, I think. Yes. Which I'm okay with the complete Ultima series. That's a nice little add-on. I was really hoping for something like Crysis 1 or like Mass Effect 1, just don't have on PC. But I think that was kind of just wishful optimism. Optimism? Yeah, that's a word. Why not? Why not? That's a fucking word.
Yeah. I don't know. Wing Commander, man.
Wing Commander, best commander.
Won't do. I played the shit out of those games when I was a kid. It'll be fun to revisit them, because I didn't get whatever one was free when they were giving it away for free, because I don't log on Origin very often.
A lot of people don't. It was 3, so yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm okay with it. Like, fuck it, bring it on. Let's do it. I'll probably play it for 20 minutes and get my nostalgia's worth, and then uninstall it.
But back to the bundle itself. Most of the shit is on Origin. It's the fucking Origin bundle. But there are a few Steam keys. In the dollar tier, it's Dragon Age Origins and Dead Space 2. And in the Beat the Average, which is currently set at $488, is Bejeweled 3, Palmer's favorite game ever.
Best.
And Mass Effect 2, my favorite game ever.
Zen mode
girls.
for life.
You in Zen mode, scan for minerals in Mass Effect 2. That shit'll fucking mellow you out, man.
I'm in Zen mode.
Nah, drive the Mako over the same terrain for hours. That's fucking zen.
I did not miss that in Mass Effect 2.
Oh god.
Best feature.
Worst
it's debatable.
feature.
It's debatable, Jose.
Ugh.
No debate.
Oh, there you have it. No debate.
Best career.
And what else? Peggle.
I'm going crazy. I can't find this fucking game. The 360 game that had 50 on 50. It looked like a fucking PS1 era game. It was like a kind of futuristic military shooter.
Oh, fuck, what was that called? It was like a first-person shooter, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. Battlegrounds, maybe? Something? Fuck.
I can't even find the right words to put into Google.
Maybe Frontline?
That sounds right. Sounds right.
I want to say Battlefield Frontline. No.
No,
Fuck,
what?
No, yeah. It's not it. I think it was Frontline something.
Frontlines, Fuels of War. This must be it.
Oh god, I hope it's it.
This looks like.
But anyway, just for the other games in the bundle, Peggle. I mean, how can you not love Peggle? It's stupid. Medal of Honor Assault War Chest, really good. The first Medal of Honor games, which are fucking fantastic. I've recently played through them thanks to GOG a year or so ago, and I'm going to be playing through them again through Origin now. Command & Conquer and Generals. I never actually played this. Isaac talks this game up to no fucking end.
Dude, Command & Conquer Generals was really fucking good.
Yeah, I hear nothing but that was just a point in my life where I was just stuffing every drug I could into my body, so video gaming wasn't a top priority. But I hear nothing but good things about it. But it comes with Generals and its expansion 0 Hour.
Yeah, I never played the expansion. My computer was not good enough to even play Generals. Back when that game came out, my computer didn't render tanks, so all I ever saw in that game were just the shadows of tanks moving across the map, and I played that game like that. I played that game like that for 2 years, and I loved every minute of it. I'm gonna finally... Everybody just bear with me for a second here. I'm gonna finally be able to play Command & Conquer Generals and see what the tanks look like. I am fucking excited.
That's like a horror aspect of the game.
Oh
just
man,
shadow tanks come out of
shadow tanks, dude. And you couldn't ever. All the tanks had the same shadows, so I could never tell what the fuck kind of tank it was until it started firing at me, and I saw the ammunition. The type of ammunition that it would be firing, and I'd be like, oh shit, that is not at all what I want to be against, and immediately backtrack. That happened to me so many times, especially in the campaign of that game, because the end of the campaign, Jesus Christ, it's a tank massacre. Everywhere you look, it's just tank on tank action.
Blood ocean of tanks.
Yes, an oil ocean of tanks.
And then for the pay the average tier, the games I already mentioned, the older titles, and Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare, which me and Jose have kind of dipped our toes into, and seems pretty fun. I was actually going to pick that. I was actually considering reviewing that game when it came out a year ago, but there was this issue where fucking everyone's microphone was always on, and the only thing you could do was mute everyone, so your microphone would always be on if you had a microphone, and just the idea of walking into that situation sounded fucking horrifying. So I decided not to review it and never got around to it, and been meaning to pick it up, and then boom, it pops up on this, so it was an instant buy for me. But they did fix the microphone. You can now set your option to push to talk. I don't know why a developer would kind of do that, not have that something that's you think of and implement day one instead of just having everyone just fucking yelling at each other over each other. And given that it's a Plants vs. Zombie games, I'm sure a lot of 12-year-olds just screaming at you. It's awful.
I hope
Don't need that.
I hope that still happens. I would expect nothing less from the Plants vs. Zombie experience. Either it's going to be nothing but 12-year-olds, or it's going to be nothing but 30-year-olds that shouldn't be playing that game. Just talking shit. I don't know, man. It's I can't wait.
I suspect that it's because that game was meant to be played with a bunch of people and planning things out accordingly. Because there are some characters that just suck ass.
Oh yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Neither of us even touched the Sunflower or the Healer class. That has to be
fucking awful. I kept reading about how the Sunflower class is the best to play.
Maybe not in a 2-player scenario when it was just me and Jose doing a private lobby. And basically if one of us couldn't shoot constantly, then there was a burden on the other one.
Yeah, I guess so.
But I'm sure if you actually got 4 or 5 people or however many people you can actually max player count with that. Yeah, I'm sure. Obviously, that would. It'd be like Mass Effect. You know, different classes do different things to help out the team in different ways.
Absolutely. It's like every other video game mechanic.
All right, let's get through this fucking list. Dragon Age 2, obviously the crappiest of the Dragon Ages. I still think it's a decent game to play through once.
Fucking garbage.
The reason I say it's a decent game to play through once is you could probably run through it in like fucking like 12 hours or so. Because you're not missing much by skipping all the extra stuff because it's just reused assets and shit.
Yep.
But as far as the voice acting goes and the characters, I still think like they added like Valric was in the Inquisition, like what's her name? A lot of characters from Dragon Age were in Inquisition. I think as far as characters go, it was probably the best Dragon Age games, just as far as characters go. Here, just in that one aspect. But if you're a fan, if you like Dragon Age Origins and you can handle the idea of kind of downscaling everything, it's worth playing through, at least so you can have a better idea of what's going on in Inquisition, which was actually a fantastic Dragon Age game. Moving on to Bejeweled. I know fuck all about this game aside from the fact that Palmer just adores it to no end.
I do. Zen mode, man. That's what it's all about.
It's just a puzzler game, isn't it?
You get all right. Let's real talk for a second. You get really intoxicated and you just play Zen mode for ever. And you can set it to do whatever the fuck you want, and like different like wubs, like do different things and trigger different stuff, like using sound, and like I don't know, it's the best. It's the fucking best. You can set it to like mellow you out. You can set it to like relieve anxiety, and it works. It fucking works. Like all of a sudden, you'll realize you've been playing Zen mode for 45 fucking minutes, and you don't have a care in the world. Not one. Just not a single fuck is given about anything except combining colored crystals together to make them blow up. Nothing else matters.
It sounds very much like Candy Crush.
I guess.
I guess less jewelly and sparkly though.
Yeah,
I would assume.
Yeah. Well,
but it gets pretty intense, like really hard at some points. Like when you're trying to make specific patterns with like, you're trying to create like a black pearl and create like little things around it.
Or Candy Crush.
What?
What are you talking about?
Bejeweled. Maybe they got rid of all the stuff from like the first one, but I've only played the first one and it got pretty freaking hard.
Yeah. Really, the only I barely ever play the classic mode on any of the Bejeweled games. All I ever play are what is it? The rush mode or whatever, where you only have like a minute to start off and you have to create as many combinations as possible. And the more that you get, the more your time increases. I think it's called like rush mode or something. So I only play Bejeweled under 2 circumstances. One, to become really mellow and
metal,
yes, mellow and zone the fuck out, or to become really really stressed and hate my life. That's really what it comes down to.
So it's either metal or black metal.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, no. Blackened black metal.
Blackened
Atmospheric black metal.
Winter Cult.
Depressive, please. Yeah, depressive black metal. Yeah, Jesus, Winter Cult.
Only you and I have any idea what the fuck is that.
Fucking Winter Cult, man! Please go Google Winter Cult right now. The two people that are fucking watching this right now.
It's a mutual hallucination.
Go fucking Google Winter Cult and prepare for 15 minutes of the worst music in your life.
Album of the year 2013.
Yeah, dude, jeez Louise. We were both reviewing music at the time, and we were trying to figure out who the fuck was gonna review it. Neither of us ended up doing it, but we had a good laugh about it for the rest of that year.
not that night, not that week, that year. Just all right. Last game. In my opinion, the best of the Mass Effect series, Mass Effect 2. Now I know Jose tends to favor Mass Effect 1 over 2. Where do you stand on that, Palmer? Because I'm guessing 3 wasn't your favorite. It wasn't anyone's favorite.
I really like 2. Mass Effect 1 managed to rope me in after about 10 hours, but 2 was just like it was like the pacing was perfect. I loved the suicide at the end. Like I loved the way that was all set up. I really enjoyed the
with
final
the heroes and whatnot.
Yeah,
yeah, that was really cool.
That was really awesome. That was very well thought out. Like I really loved the final boss battle in that game. I don't know, everything about it was so perfectly done. That was just like a very, very fucking well-designed game. I will say they dumbed down the combat a bit too much from the first one. But I see why they did it. I understand, like, and it matches like the kind of like action movie pace that they're taking with the second one. So I'd have to say it's my favorite out of all of them. Yeah, it's the only one that I've played through like multiple times. Like I think I've played through Mass Effect 2 5 times.
Yeah, somewhere around there too.
The first one I played, yeah, I only played the first one once, and that was just so I could import a character into the second one. And then the third one, yeah, I only played through it once.
Yeah,
which was so shitty because I loved the third one up until the very end. Up until the very fucking end. Like, the end just ruined everything for me.
I've been meaning to run through the third one. I never picked up any of the DLC for the third one, but apparently, like, every single piece of like story content for the third one was fucking amazing. Especially like the pack they put out to kind of like as like a farewell to the fans, as opposed to like the ending of the series, more like, you know, kind of not a shitty way to kind of go out. But like apparently all the DLC for the third one was like great. Like I don't think I've read one thing about like, oh, this was terribly written, or this doesn't fit in with the story, or yada yada yada.
I thought there was like one that was released that was kind of throwaway. Yeah, I remember reading.
They released some gun packs and shit like that. That I just, you know.
They released 3 like content DLCs though, right?
They put out
the first one where you're just kind of like exploring the moon, or like a moon of some planet, and you just go out there to pick something up. Like, whatever that DLC was, that was the throwaway one. I can't remember what it was, but like the whole...
That was when you pick up the new character, right?
No.
The Prothean? The Prothean character was the first DLC, unless I'm mistaken.
Was it?
Yeah, because it was in the digital deluxe edition, so yeah, it was. So maybe that I have that, but I haven't actually played through it because playing through Mass Effect 3 again. I don't know. But apparently all the add-on content for it was great. And I've played through I played through all the content for Mass Effect 2, and most of that shit was groovy as well. Didn't have a problem with any of that. I think there was, for like buying the game new, basically, like the tiny bit of DLC they gave you was going to the Normandy crash site and like planting a flag, and that's literally all you did. That's the one. That's what you think. Yeah, that's the one.
That was bullshit.
Like that wasn't anything. That was like,
yeah,
you bought the game, so here we'll give you this like 5-minute thing.
Why?
I think you got like a gun or something, if I remember right.
I don't know. It was stupid.
But that was kind of just
that's
like
the one that was
Pick up your stupid dead friend dog tags and fucking turn them into some guy and get a gun. That's what all that was.
That's what it was. Yeah. You had to pick up their dog tags.
Yeah.
That was awful. But the rest of it I read pretty good things about. No, they did if you didn't like pre-order.
Yeah, but if you no. The pre-order thing was I remember because I worked at GameStop at the time. The pre-order thing was a fucking suit that was really badass and a gun that like created a tiny black hole or some shit like that. I remember that very well.
Okay.
But
are you sure? Because I pre-ordered it and all I got was like a tin case.
Tin case? Yeah,
like a metal tin for the fucking game.
Maybe it was the second tier.
Oh, was it? Okay, was there a tier after
that?
Like okay.
Yeah,
alright, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that was just part of the Cerberus network, which basically meant like, hey, you need this to fucking do anything, really. Mm. It was the way of connecting the BioWare, what they used back then, which was the BioWare accounts.
Mm.
That was just basically That was just basically buying new. Bicycly, I'm Australian. But yeah, that's all that was. utterly worthless. But yeah, they didn't charge you for it or anything, unless obviously you bought the game used. But I bought the game.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. If you bought the game used,
but
then
there were
that.
there were like a handful of little things like that came with like Zaid, the old mercenary dude. He was part of that too. Like there were a bunch of little things.
Well, regardless, the fact that they would charge you to go to the fucking Normandy ship at all,
right?
Because used game markets were a big thing. That was like back when like people were really competing against the used game markets and charging $5 for online. Like after if you bought the game, you remember that all that horse shit. It was awful.
That was more in like 2011, 2012. But like I said, that was basically just their way of connecting the Bioware accounts back then, which now are fucking null and void because fuck Bioware points for buying DLC. But that was just their gimmick at the time.
Right.
All right. Before we close out, we should probably mention some of these fucking new releases. Let's start with Grand Theft Auto, which is
GTA.
not a new release, but new on the PC.
It might as well be.
Might as well be a new release. It does have a bunch of new features and shit, and mods. The idea of mods just sound delicious. Palmer, how has your experience been? I know at first there was problems, but
day one hiccups. That's acceptable because literally, I got on the next morning, and everything has been working just fine since. So I gotta say, for as much rage as I was spewing at them on fucking Monday night when I was trying to play that game, they got their shit together like 100%. Like the next morning, everything was working perfectly. I haven't had a single problem at all. Period.
I think it was just there was so many people were trying to pop on and it just like melted every server.
Well, there's still if you think about it, there's still going to be a shitload of new people playing that game. Like the fact that they're dealing with it this well is like applause, like full on applause, dude. Everything works. Everything loads very smoothly. I played enough of the single player game to be able to start playing multiplayer. And a friend of ours and I have been just plowing through online, and it's one of those things, dude. Like online compared to when I was playing it on PS3, online is a whole different beast on PC. I don't know, the whole game is a whole different beast on PC. Like it doesn't look nearly as good. It doesn't look nearly as good even on the PS4. It didn't look this good. Everything's crisp, everything's clear, the textures are great, the draw distance is there, the lighting effects are fantastic. I mean, that game is fucking gorgeous. Especially like in the first person mode, it's not quite as much. The textures start getting a little muddy and stuff. But honestly, like the fact that like the game runs that well, like makes me really want to say like this is what it was meant to be played on PC. Like the consoles were like the beta test for this game, and this is what the game is truly supposed to be.
Long goddamn beta test.
Hey, dude, but the fact that they turned around and put it on PC and it's perfect. It's perfect. Like I would give this a fucking 10 out of 10, dude. Like this game is just as good as it was. Like I think I gave it like a 9.5, I think, when I reviewed it on PS3. It's perfect 10 on PC. Perfect 10. They took everything and upped the ante and made it better. And I don't know, I can't praise it enough. Like like I said, they had some day one hiccups, but honestly, that and they really catered to the PC audience, man. Like you can change every single setting. You can change settings for shit that I've never seen before in this game. Like they really catered to the like holy shit, they learned from Max Payne and they upped it. They took the great port that they had of Max Payne and they said, all right, we're gonna do everything we did in this 10 times better.
I think also the fact that GTA 4 on PC's launch and even into now, people are still having issues with it. So I think they really wanted to be like, look, we gotta fucking get this all nailed out and smoothed out perfectly for launch, because like you said, they did a good port with Max Payne 3, but I don't think people pay as much people pay as much attention to Max Payne as they would to Grand Theft Auto.
Oh, absolutely.
So they wanted GTA to have a fucking good release, and yeah, aside from just the hiccups the opening night, everything seems to be going good.
Yeah. Strongly recommended. Like, I honestly can't recommend it enough. It's so good, and it feels like such a new experience. So even if you've already played it on consoles, from somebody who's played it on 2 consoles now, I can't recommend it enough. Like it's an entirely different experience. Like everything in high def just alone is it's perfect. It's great. You get in the car on PC and you're staring at it on your fucking monitor, and you're just like, holy shit, I actually feel like I'm in this game. And I can't say that there's been a game in recent history that has done that immersion this well, especially on an online platform. If you're hesitating or like thinking about it, don't. It's great. Like, I can't recommend it enough.
And there are plenty of sites already offering it. You know, like GMG's already got a 20% discount on it, which I think they had pre-orders anyway at that. But you know, check for good key selling sites, and you'll be able to get it for less than $60 at least right now.
Direct to play, $38.
Jesus, don't do it.
Do it.
Don't do it.
Do it.
There's an embargo.
We have a deal with them.
Oh man, no! This is it. Like, I'm gonna start promoting them on this, and then I'm gonna contact them and be like, "Hey, look, guys, give keys, please.
Give keys that we can have revoked for 6 months later."
No, hasn't happened, dude. It's been like how long has it been on Battlefield?
It'll be like 10 years, and then it'll happen. I'll laugh at you.
At that point, I won't
My
give a
old
shit.
man beard will laugh at.
Like
Before we jump into Mortal Kombat, I just want to point out one quick thing. I haven't brought up Star Citizen in like a month on this cast, and that's because the multiplayer not worked for about a month now. It's working for some on and off, but how
are those hundreds of millions of dollars treating you?
I don't really. I fucking said a month ago, like, look, this isn't gonna get fixed anytime soon.
Yeah,
and it's still not looking like it's gonna get fixed anytime soon. But everyone that's like actively on the Star Citizen subreddit, just like, this is great. They're giving us constant updates and letting us know what's wrong, and they're fixing a bug and finding 10 more. This is fantastic. It's a cult. Like it's getting to the point where I'm just assuming
it's like the Mormons.
They're worse than the Mormons. At least like you can get a Mormon angry. These guys are just like, no, this is. I'm convinced that they're not even people. They're just all these millions of dollars are going towards like making these bots on Reddit. It's just like fucking.
God. How hilarious would that be if this turns out to be the biggest scam?
They're pulling in like $1 million a week at this point.
They absolutely are. Like, how much money do they have?
Hasn't that been the case for the last?
Yeah, when I last discussed it. No, not the last year. Just the past like month. When I last brought it up, I was like, I noted that they raised $1 million in a week, and that was like a big thing for them. And since then, it's been a steady. Like they're almost at 80 million. I think they're at 79 now. So yeah, clearly all this money's just going to robots to talk about how great the game is.
It's, you know what they're actually developing? Fucking Skynet. This is the beginning. This is AI channeling money to make more AI.
Just gonna plug us into Star Citizen, and that'll be our new like world.
Oh Jesus Christ!
But yeah, multiplayer's still fucky. No sign of being fixed in the future, but devs are apparently on it and have been for a month. So I just wanted to bring that up because I said I would bring up any Star Citizen stuff, and that's pretty much the only thing. Multiplayer doesn't really work.
You didn't bring up when you bought some fish?
Oh, I did totally buy a fish tank.
Oh, tell me about your fish.
No, it's a fish tank in my hangar.
Are they Swedish fish?
There's a lone fish. No, it's from some fucking place. I don't know. I put I think I put $100 into that game now. I have 2 ships and a.
See what I'm saying? You put 100. You're part of the cult.
No,
you're over here yelling at me about Mortal Kombat tokens, and you're putting $100 into a game.
But
Never mind.
I can actually do stuff in my ships. All I'm asking for is for that. What they should have done when they when this happened about a month ago, what they did was they basically put out a new build of the game with a lot of shit like under the hood for 64-bit systems. So they were like, look, we know this is their whole spiel has been, look, we know this is fucked, but this is like the new, like, this is a much improved system. And it is. I'm getting better frame rates. Loading doesn't take half the time it used to. So it is much improved, but I really think they should roll back their old fucking system and put that back up so they can get multiplayer working and then, improve on the fucking new one and then roll that back out. Because right now it's just a shit show. I mean, you can pop on right now and fly around. You can do all the modes yourself, but as far as multiplayer goes, it's just fucked. And they really should. They should have just rolled back the system to the old one, honestly, because that one worked fine. Like, I was on it for about half a week before that patch went live, and I was fucking time of my life, boys. But then, dead game, so. But that's something
But
that
then
really
you found Elite and moved on with your life.
Elite's fun, but it's definitely not. It's nowhere near as grand as like half of the shit they're promising in Star Citizen, which means.
So
like,
what you're telling me is that a fully finished game isn't going to be as good as like a borderline fucking like Fable-esque type release. Like, I feel like Star Citizen is actually just Peter Molyneux just spewing out shit onto a page, and then the developers are just writing that on the Kickstarter. Like this is what's gonna be in here. We promise.
A lot of that shit isn't out like closed alpha for a lot of people, but that was like pre-Kickstarter fucking people. Well, not pre-Kickstarter, just basically really early on. But the thing with Elite Dangerous is like, it's cool. It looks decent, and there's a lot of shit to do. There's a lot of different roles you can play, but like you can't get out of your ship. You can't like walk around or do anything. It's kind of limited, honestly. And they've said like it officially launched in December, and they've said like, oh, we're not done. We're gonna keep doing free updates, and then they're planning on doing big expansions. They're kind of doing the Guild Wars 2 model, where you buy it, you got it, and then when they put out a big they'll put out a big expansion, you buy that, and then you have access to all that shit, which I'm okay with, but. I don't know. Just right now, Elite Dangerous is fun. I'm sinking a lot of hours into it. I've already sunk like 20 into it. But it's just, I don't know. It's kind of, especially after reading all the Star Citizen stuff and looking at some of the closed alpha stuff and shit that they're planning on doing, and shit that's apparently months away from release, even though the multiplayer is not working. But apparently it's a few months away from release. It's just Elite Dangerous kind of, I don't know. It's not as grandiose, I guess, would be the proper term. And it's not on CryEngine 3, so you can run it at ultra settings without fucking issue.
Awesome.
Whereas any of us trying to run Star Citizen at ultra settings would just fucking melt our rigs.
Well, it's because it's just horribly unoptimized.
That, and CryEngine. And the thing with that's just a whole nother... Just fuck it, I'm done. Elite Dangerous is a decent game, but I just don't expect the world from it like you would Star Citizen, and Star Citizen isn't even a game yet, so don't expect the world from it because it's not a game.
You expect a galaxy from it, actually.
Yeah, not even a world, a galaxy. Well, the cool thing about the cool thing about Elite Dangerous is like it's modeled a lot after our own galaxy. Like obviously, not every fucking star of everything's going to be in the fucking game because galaxy's kind of big, boys. But a lot of like the known constellations and shit like that, you can actually travel to and view the planets and shit. And wherever you start off in the game, you can actually make your way back to Earth, even if it is fucking 200 light years away from you. So that's cool, but I don't know. Just it. I feel like it needs more content. Otherwise, you'll play it for even 100 hours. You can play it for, but eventually you'll hit a wall and you'll be like, all right, I've kind of done everything I want to do. I don't know how the fuck I got onto Elite Dangerous.
Yeah, well, I pushed you over to it.
I just wanted to bring up a tiny bit about Star Citizen. That's all I wanted to do.
Just nudged you over the edge, and you felt him.
One last quick thing. The Blood Rain games are on sale on Steam at 80% off, which is a historic low on Steam. Hilariously dumb, gory, or at least the second. Well, no, both of them.
Both of them.
Yeah, you can get them both for $4 on Steam right now. They are fucking stupid fun, and they added Steam cards, which is kind of interesting. They add Steam cards to like 12-year-old games that Steam has shown no support for whatsoever since they've been put on Steam. But whatever. Let us close this out by talking about Mortal Kombat. Now, before we get into it,
disclaimer.
Yeah, well, no. Before we really get into it, I want to actually talk about the gameplay itself. Apparently, it's all coming together on PC, but Palmer, you've been playing it a lot on PlayStation 4.
Well, I've been playing it on both.
Oh, okay.
Well,
how just before we talk about any DLC or price modeling or anything, how is the actual game itself?
The game itself is very good. I'm still kind of like picking. I've picked two characters, Scorpion and Katana, that I'm really focusing on, just like trying to like learn all the nuances about. So like I'm still like wrapping my head around exactly how the combo system works and how to string them together. it's just like any other Mortal Kombat. It's very special ability driven. So like that's going to be like the thing that kind of propels you in linking combos. So like most of the combos, like the basic pieces of them are listed like in the moves list, and it's up to you to string them together with like special abilities to see how long you can keep going. And it seems to have a pretty decent juggle system. Like I said, I'm still trying to figure out exactly how it's going to stand, whether it can stand toe to toe with competitive fighters like Street Fighter and stuff, because that really has been one of the things that like Ed Boon has been like championing like about this release, is that like this was going to be the first Mortal Kombat that's truly a competitive experience. And they have some DLC actually that you can buy that surprised the living shit out of me, dude. It's the international model. Everybody who buys this piece of DLC, it's a special skin for Scorpion. I think it's actually pretty reasonably priced. It's like $4 or something. And a percentage of it goes to the prize pool for their first tournament for the game. So I'm interested in like trying to figure out whether or not it's actually got that competitive aspect to it. And I mean, it definitely does. The characters seem relatively balanced. There's a relatively limited selection of characters, but there's a bunch of fighting styles for each character. So, for instance, they don't have Jade in the game, which was a huge disappointment to a lot of people, myself included, because I loved Jade in Mortal Kombat 9. But there's a fighting style that Katana has where she uses Jade's weapon. So she pulls out the staff instead of using her like fan blades. And borrows a lot of Jade-esque moves. So even though like a bunch of the old characters are missing, there's still elements of them there. They're just kind of explored a little differently. So I think the whole like fighting stance thing adds a lot of replayability to a character, because even though you learn one character like in and out, that's like you have two other fighting styles that you need to learn how to master as well, and each one of them really does work differently. For instance, there's a character, I think it's like Kana and Tor or something. I can't remember the exact name for him, but it's basically like a little boy and a giant like Hulk, like a menacing monster thing. And it looks think about like the Alchemist from Dota 2, like something's riding on its back, and like the giant beast kind of takes the most of the wailing or like whipping and everything. So like anyway, so like there's three different playstyles with this one thing, and so one of them incorporates using the child as like a projectile. So rather than getting like in like up close to like the battle, like the monster focuses on like throwing the kid at the enemy and like using combos within that. So you're kind of trying to like micromanage like both characters at once. Another playstyle is both of them like have a lot of synergy with one another, so it's much more focused on like brute force and throws and that kind of thing, so it slows the play of the character down a little bit. And then there's a third one where it's just the monster and the kid stands on the sideline, but the monster has much more health and focuses on like breaking other people's attacks rather than like he's more of like a defensive thing, like you wait for somebody to attack you and then you respond in kind versus trying to lead the charge. So that's just kind of like an example of like how the different playstyles work and how they're kind of like effective and make a character different depending on how you want to like fight with it, I guess. So there's a lot of replayability to it. The fatalities are fucking awesome. The game looks great. Yeah, I mean, aside from the occasional hiccup that I've run into on PC more so than PS3, it plays just fine, or PS4, I mean, it plays just fine on the PS4. You can tell that the game was like really designed to be on console. But honestly, it's a fighter. I think most of those are designed more to be on console than anything else because they play better with the gamepad. I think that's kind of the way that.
Most fighting games I think obviously play better with a gamepad, but you can just plug in a gamepad to PC nowadays.
That's true, but I feel like most fighters are kind of like an afterthought on the PC, and it's kind of apparent even with this. Granted, they did a lot of things right. So the other thing that I've noticed about, like, I hate the Xbox 360 gamepad for playing fighters because the D-pad sucks. So I plugged in my PS4 controller. It works. It reads my PS4 controller, but it still displays Xbox 360 buttons.
Yeah, that's just the standard now for PC gaming with controllers. Like, that's just the way it is. A lot of people still use PlayStation 3 controllers on PC, or even buy like this weird, third-party fucking PlayStation lookalike controllers. But it's just 360 gamepads just kind of stuck at one point, and that just seems to be what developers have gone with.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I'm okay with that. It's not very hard to decipher what buttons I should be pressing. I mean, they both basically have the same layout,
right?
So it's not hard to figure it out. But it's just one of those things where I feel like they, like, for instance, Injustice has the PS4 buttons programmed in, but this one doesn't. It's by the same developer. Why wouldn't it have that?
Again, 360 gamepad, just the standard now.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is what I'm saying is, like, if they took the time, I guess, to do it in Injustice, then why wouldn't they just continue that trend into Mortal Kombat? It's the same developer. It just doesn't make a lot of sense.
Lazy they didn't think of it.
That's what I'm saying. That's why this feels like it's an afterthought compared to the console version. It feels like it's at home, like it's complete on the console.
Well, a lot of these big fighting games, like Mortal Kombat, Injustice, even Skullgirls, like they were all like on console first and then ported over. This is a instance where Mortal Kombat was launching the same day as consoles.
Yeah, which is why I expected a little more out of it.
Right.
But so it's disappointing on PC in that regard. If you're looking at now, when I say that, I mean it's disappointing in terms of like features and what PC gamers have come to expect from console ports. Especially when you look at something as great as GTA. So it's kind of disappointing in that aspect. It still plays very well. It's still a very solid game on PC. I've had, like I said, a couple more hiccups in terms of, like, the game has randomly crashed on me a couple times on PC. Haven't run into anything like that on console. So, I mean, they're small things, and if you're really not expecting a whole lot out of, like, the settings side and, like, the features side for PC, then you really don't have a whole lot to worry about. That game is still there. It's still very much complete. I don't know. Just feels like it's better on PS4.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that. Just as we pointed out, just the fact that it launched the same time as consoles, and without that bumper or that period of time to kind of properly get it over to the PC instead of launching it day one. Yeah, I think there was bound to be a couple hiccups and whatnot. Like, I think part of the reason Grand Theft Auto is such a great port is because it's been a fucking year and a half since it originally launched. So Rockstar had plenty of time, in addition to adding all this new stuff that they're adding to both versions, to make sure the port was fucking good.
Yeah.
Whereas Mortal Kombat launched same day and might have, or definitely did have issues, but not just Steam fucking up. I'm talking about the actual game itself might have, just a couple of small minor things, but issues nevertheless.
Right.
All right, well, while we're on that, we bring up the fact that Mortal Kombat, bit of a rocky launch, and not
more than
necessarily, a bit. Yeah, and not like Grand Theft Auto is like things are kind of fucked, the first 12 hours, and then they kind of work themselves out. This was more on Steam's end than
NetherRealms.
NetherRealms, that's it. This was more on Steam's end because they wanted to implement this new system where you download part of it and you kind of stream and download the rest of it while you're playing it.
Didn't work at all.
Well, I don't know why Steam decided to do this, honestly.
There was a lot of that's a whole separate thing. But as far as like pointing the finger at, a lot of people immediately took to the Steam forums and started giving this game like horrible fucking reviews. Like, well, straight off the bat. And that's to be expected from the Steam fucking community. But, like, a lot of people were immediately pointing the blame at NetherRealm. This wasn't really NetherRealm's fault. One, the game wasn't supposed to launch at midnight. It was supposed to launch the next day. But Steam put it up at midnight. So when the game launched, all the DLC that was supposed to be continually downloaded wasn't available because the game was launched at the wrong time.
Right.
So a lot of people, myself included, got on at midnight, checked it out. We were excited to boot up the game and then find out if we selected the single player menu and then went to single player match, which was the only option that was available, the game instantly crashed because none of the assets were loaded. It was literally a menu, which doesn't make any sense. A lot of people had noticed that the file size, before the game, or when the preload happened, that the file size was only 3 gigabytes. And a lot of people were like, what the fuck? So I don't know. I don't know what I expected out of it. Like, I didn't know what the actual, file size was supposed to be for the game. So, I thought it was weird, but I was like, all right, we'll go with it. It says it's out. And then, login, menu, find out I can't access any of this stuff. Go to the Steam forums, see if anybody else is having the same type of issue. Turns out everybody is. And then, so, I figured, okay, keep in mind, this is the same day I had been running into a lot of issues with GTA as well, so I was getting pretty fucking pissed, and got off my computer and went to bed, and woke up to find I could still not download the deals, or the additional game content that was needed to play the fucking game that I bought, and found that, not only that, I got my delivery from Amazon for the PS4 version of the game, and could play it on my play a hard copy of this game on my console before I could play my preloaded fucking PC one.
That's great. It's fantastic.
It was awful. I couldn't get it. So finally, here's the fucking, in a long string of fuck ups, they finally got around to uploading the content that was necessary. 2 packages were missing, numbers 5 and number 9, and this is out of things numbered 1 through fucking 29. And you had to download these packets in order, and it was going to completely update the game. So they were missing 5 and 9. They finally got around to putting 5 and 9 up, so you had numbers 1 through 29, and then it turned out numbers 1 through 29 only gave you access to one-on-one matches. There was still no story mode, still no online. There were 8 more packets that weren't released until fucking 4 p.m. What the horse shit is that? Like, why?
Practice.
Why would you change your model like that, though?
It's not like Steam's preload or even just download at midnight fucking thing was a problem. Like, I mean, with huge launches, it was a problem like a year and a half, 2 years ago, when you would start downloading something the second it came out at midnight. But then they added that preload feature.
Yeah, and you
download it like over a week. So
yeah, you would download like 99% of the game, and then you would just download the last 1%. Like,
yeah, I just don't understand why Steam thinks that they need to fix that. Like, the system works. Why fix what's not broken?
It makes absolutely no sense to me, and it's a perfect example of Steam trying to catch up to a console market that it doesn't need to catch up to. Like, consoles do this, but they do this for a reason, and they do things differently, and they have a very similar system to what Steam's trying to achieve, but that's because consoles don't allow, well, actually they do. I mean, it's funny, because like, consoles are turning around and trying to match Steam. Like, you could preload the fucking game on PS4. You could download the whole fucking thing and preload it on PS4 and have played it at fucking midnight. Granted, you would have had to wait until midnight on the West Coast, at 3 a.m. East Coast time. But you would have been able to play it at 3 a.m., the full fucking game, the way it should have been done. Whereas Steam went ass backwards and tried to do what consoles did, whereas consoles are trying to do what Steam does. I don't know. Like, it makes no sense.
Yeah.
Like preload a game, do it the way that you've always done it. People like me, expect, all right, I'm going to get on at midnight. I'm going to have to download 1% more of this. It's going to take me 20 minutes to download fucking 3 megabytes, but that's okay. I'll play the game before 1 o'clock, and I'll play 20 minutes of it, go to bed with a smile on my face. That's literally all I wanted to do with Mortal Kombat. I wanted to kill people twice, cut off some bitch's head, and go to bed. That's what I wanted in my life, and that didn't happen.
Sure, right? It's an American, Paul.
It is, goddammit. and so I don't know. It's frustrating, man. Like, and why they chose this is the other side of the coin that I don't understand. Why they chose Mortal Kombat a game that they've been promoting like crazy that actually was getting a lot of legitimate hype on PC, which surprised me. Why they would choose to do it with a AAA release? Why? Why would you do that with a game that everybody was expecting to be able to play?
Because if it had gone off without a hitch, like they would have been like, these guys are geniuses. They're revolutionizing.
Yeah, but they're not
everything.
revolutionizing.
Yeah, it's backwards.
Yeah, like it just makes no. Even if it went off
But
without a hitch.
no. But I guess it's enticing to, like, developers or just the business end of that. I don't know how prevalent stealing games is. I don't know what you can call it, torrenting games or whatever, like ripping games from Steam is.
Mm.
But it just seems like that was just another move, like a business move, to like make sure piracy doesn't ruin this game.
I mean, but that comes more from hard
And
copies, and you can't stop somebody from stealing a hard copy.
But on launch, I mean,
That's what I'm saying. Like you used to work at a GameStop, Tim. You get those games like a few days before launch happens.
Yeah.
Am I right? Right.
Yeah,
So
in some instances, we'd get them like couple weeks.
that if somebody wants to steal a game and they want to throw it up on a torrent, that's going to be the way it happens. Not from Steam encrypted files. Like that's not a valid argument. like it's just not.
But somewhere along the line, fucking, I don't know who is in charge of all like Mortal Kombat, like Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
Someone
I
said
think they published.
someone gave the go ahead. Someone thought it was a great idea to do it this way, and it
Yeah,
seems
and
like it was a very, very much a business move.
I'm sure, but it just, I don't know.
It's not like they have no blood on their hands.
I don't know. I
They're-
still because this is something that Steam is saying that they want to do. So I want to say that the blood is pretty much on Steam's hands for saying, "Hey, Warner Brothers, why don't we get together and try to launch this?" Like Steam shouldn't have said that in the first place. Like I don't understand. It doesn't make any sense to me. You could try to justify it all you want to, Jose. It's just not justifiable.
It's not justified. It's just like, this is exactly where they're coming from. They're looking at it in a
I know, and that's
purely
that's the
numbers
shitty thing about video games, though, these days. That's like that goes back to the free-to-play conversation. It's full circle once again at the end of the episode. It goes back to the free-to-play conversation that we just had, like charging for everything.
What do you think of Mortal Kombat stories? Like Farsundor's he thinks that it's one of the best fighting stories in as far as video game series go.
It's
now, I haven't
good.
played the new one, but I've played the older ones, and
It's very good. You're talking about in general or just this game?
in general,
In general.
as far as like stories throughout the series.
Oh well.
Although Farsundor is asking specifically about this game, but I don't know if you've actually. Obviously, I don't think you've completed it or like played through the entire story yet.
No, I'm very close.
Oh,
Apparently.
okay. Well, what do you think of it?
It's good. It's really good. I don't think it's as good as MK9, but it's still very good. It's well done. I will say the other thing that kind of is bothering me, and it's funny because it didn't bother me until IGN pointed it out. Some of the character models in that game are really poor looking. Like clearly didn't have as much attention drawn to them like as some of the other characters. And I didn't notice it until I saw an IGN review on it, and they pointed that out. And as soon as they pointed that out, I have not been able to stop seeing it. Like,
It's one of those things.
yeah, dude, like it's everywhere. But in terms of like actual story, it's good. It's good. It's definitely good for a fucking fighting game.
Yeah, I think with fighting games, you don't expect a whole hell of a lot as far as.
Could you guys, maybe you guys could answer this? I watched some gameplay of like the campaign for like the Kung Lao Descendants. I don't know what that character's name is, like the gay one. And it showed everything fluidly moves from like a little cutscene to like a fight. Is that how other Mortal Kombat games have done it, like the story mode? Because I'm being like really serious. The last Mortal Kombat game, like I honestly played, was Mortal Kombat 3, like Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3, and that was just like
Yeah.
an avatar going up a ladder.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so like and
Yeah.
and watching that gameplay of like Raiden scolding this kid for robbing something from his temple, and then fluidly moving into like a fight, and then getting out of it, and then continuing the cinematic.
Yeah.
It
That
just
is
seemed
pretty impressive.
amazing.
Yeah, it is pretty impressive.
Is this the first time they've done something like that, like in single player or
Yes.
for campaign?
Yeah, it is.
Okay. That's
yeah,
fucking
MK9
awesome.
MK9 didn't have anything like that.
Yeah, it was basically just cutscene fight. That's how MKs have been since they got rid of the ladder thing and started doing.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, so yeah, it is pretty cool that they've implemented something like that. You're right. It definitely adds to the flow of everything because it doesn't feel like there's a break. It's just bam, 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 bam. Like so it's good. It's good. Presentation wise, there's nothing wrong with the story at all. They really did pretty well. Like I said, I don't think it's as good as 9, but I actually think 9 had a pretty goddamn good story, to be completely honest. But it's definitely, well, actually, I mean, it's probably the second most memorable MK game.
I kind of Farsendor's with me on this. I like 9, but I felt like it kind of just stretched out and elongated and just is longer than it needed to be. Not that it was too long, it just felt like some of the fights were just kind of like Johnny Cage. I think Johnny Cage like walking across a bridge and like bumped into some guy, and all of a sudden I'm fighting this dude and has nothing to do with what just happened like 20 minutes ago.
That's true. There was a lot of that.
Yeah, it was just like, what? Okay.
But like, I'm talking about like in terms of like the actual story, all right, not necessarily in terms of its pace. Like MK9, its actual story was really, really well done. I loved how they because you've got to think like MK9 not only had a successful story, it successfully reset the entire universe for Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, they kind of took the lore. I think it was the first 4 games and like threw them into.
And they did it. They did it in a way that made sense. And they did it in a way so everything could change and the outcomes didn't have to be the same, and allowed them to turn around and create a story that would build upon the platform that MK9 laid out. And if you look at that and what they set out to do and how ambitious something like that was, especially considering how fucking convoluted the Mortal Kombat story was getting towards the end there. I mean, it was getting pretty god-awful, dude. They took all of that and managed to channel it into something completely refreshing. I mean, refreshing in both the figurative and the literal sense. I mean, they completely refreshed that entire fucking series. And that's why I champion the story in 9. It's because of the fact that, like, it created something compelling and made me want to continue to explore these characters, whereas none of the other games really successfully did that. Annihilation, or not Annihilation. What was the one that came out on PS2 and Xbox?
Armageddon.
Yes.
Oh, it came out on PS2. I don't know if it did come out. Armageddon was the one where like everyone fucking died in like the first opening intro. Yeah.
Like fucking awful. Like the story in that was just awful.
You know, well, yeah, but that was my favorite because you could pick every fucking
yeah.
and you could make your own, and fucking now that's a whole fucking thing.
But like, you know, eventually somewhere down the road they had to reboot the franchise, and the story did it without having, it wasn't an origin story all over again. If you look at movies that when movies reboot the franchise, they start with the origin story once again, and Mortal Kombat 9 didn't do that. It took all the bullshit that happened before and said, all right, fuck it, we're going to create a really interesting way to wrap it all up. And they did. It was successful. And that's the reason that I love the story so much in 9. Yeah, you're definitely right. There are a lot of unnecessary fights. It's a little stretched out, but the story itself is very, very well done. Whereas I don't feel the pacing is quite there in 10. You're talking about fluidity between combat and the necessity of combat and stuff. Yes, 10 is much better. But in terms of story and like what it's actually setting out to do and the character explanations, and especially some of the stories for the new fucking characters, dude, like, I just don't feel it. I feel like there's a couple really forgettable characters that they're trying very hard to keep as part of like the core essence of Mortal Kombat from here on out. I don't know. It's just, there's some forgettable stuff. Overall, it's a decent story, but it's not as good as 9. My opinion.
Fair enough. I think honestly, a lot of people agree with that. Just because, as far as the series goes, a lot of people will say 9 was their absolute favorite, just because it kind of, like you said, it encompassed all the lore and shit from the first few games and kind of put it on the modern setting. Because fucking the 20-year-old kid didn't necessarily play fucking Mortal Kombat 1 or 2 or 3 or all that shit like when we were growing up. So, well, maybe 15, maybe 20 was a little old to go for. Before we close out, we have to bring up the microtransaction thing that kind of has the internet in a tizzy.
Yeah, I don't understand that.
Now, they did add in some pre-order DLC, which was Goro as character, which is I think it's dumb, but I think it's expected nowadays. Like, games do that kind of shit all the time. Jose got his Jimmy's rustled about that a little bit, but honestly, that's doesn't really bother me so much. It's to be expected, honestly. It's stupid, especially since he's one of the most iconic characters in the Mortal Kombat universe.
You can still buy him, but you don't.
Yeah, you can still buy him, but it's just.
My whole thing is this: like,
but
if
it's expected.
you get, I don't know. I feel like if you're not gonna pre-order a game, then you might as well just wait until it's discounted. And there's not a lot of things that I really want to pre-order for in the upcoming future. So it'll probably remember last time we talked about like why I didn't really want to I was probably gonna wait on the Witcher unless I saw it for a really good price as a pre-order.
Right.
It's because of the fact that I can't justify paying full price for some of these games because of the fact that shit like this happens. For instance, now I pre-ordered it. I got the Goro DLC. In addition to everything else, but fucking, if I didn't pre-order it, if I was somebody sitting on the fence for it and didn't just right off the bat say I'm in, I would wait until the game's $38 and then turn around and have no problem buying the Goro DLC, because at that point I'm still only spending $45 or so, and I'm getting the DLC that I should have gotten at a lower price than what the game was when it initially came out. So I don't know. I don't have that much of a problem with that kind of DLC. Honestly, I don't really have a problem with any of the DLC that MKX is doing, but...
Alright, well, let's move into the microtransactions. Now, funny thing about this shit was people didn't know about it. This wasn't in review copies of this game. The unlocks for the crypt, the fatality tokens, all that bullshit was not in the review copies. People fucking found that out as they were fucking playing Mortal Kombat and looked at the store when they had it and it launched. I think that was kind of... I mean, again, to be expected, but it's still a pretty shitty thing.
Why though? If you don't want it, don't buy it.
Because it's just a stupid model, and they're fucking... the idea of paying for an easy fatality is just... why does that exist? It doesn't need to exist.
They're essentially taking a cheat code and charging for it, and I understand that mentality. I understand that people don't want to pay for that, but that's one of those things where it literally does not affect the game. It doesn't.
I'm not disputing that whatsoever.
So then don't vote with your wallet and just don't buy it. You have no need to ever buy it.
I can also say in an open forum that's idiotic and stupid and pointless, because in my opinion it fucking is.
Yeah, but I just I don't understand it seems I guess the part that kind of pisses me off is the fact that the internet is all up in arms about the DLC and totally ignoring the fact that this is actually a very good game.
And next week they'll be on something else and they'll forget about Mortal Kombat.
I understand that, but that's just that's why I don't get it. I'm just I don't why is everybody focused on this? This one little aspect that really doesn't change anything about the game.
Because in my opinion, and the reason my jimmies are rustled about it, it's just a shitty microtransaction thing that doesn't need to exist. It's just idiotic.
Right.
It sounds like a parody of something.
But from a business perspective, it's one of those things where it's all right, if somebody out there wants to just pay to unlock everything in the crypt, then if the person's okay with paying for it, then let them pay for it. That's their choice, and then the developer gets more money, like to be able to continue to do new stuff.
And then you have to. There's also rumors floating around that there was a patch day one, or not day one. The review, like the pre-release fucking copies. It was much easier to earn gold and unlock shit in the crypt than it is in like the standard release copies of the game. That isn't like, obviously it's not verified. It's just a rumor floating around.
I've had so from standard battles, you don't get a whole lot of gold. You get like 20 gold or so, like a victory. And there's some crypts that costs like upwards of like 6,000 gold to unlock. And I'm sure there's more. That's just all I've come across so far, and I haven't spent a whole lot of time in the crypt. So that's just what I've come across so far. I'm sure there are some that cost significantly more than that, but it's also one of those things where like I only had like 1,400 gold, I think, when I first walked into the crypt, and just in the first area alone, I found 6 different crypts that gave me upwards of 4,000 gold, like for opening them. Granted, I had to spend like 300 or 400 gold to unlock these crypts, but they turned around and rewarded me with gold, and it was all like totally random. I had no idea what was going to be in them, but that gold model, I don't know, it's not necessary. Like to get upset about that. Like even if they did patch it and make it easier, it's still, you can just stroll into the crypt and open a few fucking crypts and you're back in business, boys. Like I don't know what to tell you.
It's more than
that's actually good to hear. That was everything that I read about the microtransactions seemed really shady. Just I wasn't even bothered by like, there could be something in it that could potentially ruin the game for someone because you bought, better moveset or something. But it's good to hear that there are other ways to get some DLC. The whole thing that bothers me about it is that it seems like a fucking suit. Like just, there was a lot less, the things that make the game work, like they should have seen, like they should have had the foresight to know like there was going to be an uproar about this, and they just chose to ignore it because they knew that there would be enough people that would pay for it, or that it would go down eventually, like the fervor that people have over the DLC. This goes back to the whole someone at Warner Brother had to approve the whole weird preload thing. Some suit had to make that decision. Some suit made a decision to charge for all this weird DLC.
Well, you have to keep in mind, this isn't DLC. This is microtransaction, just unlock stuff. This isn't actual content.
But you're still. I mean, I think
you're paying
DLC
for content.
For like.
Yeah, it's just what the fuck is the word? It's generalization.
Yeah.
But you have to keep in mind, these are microtransactions. This is shit that's in the game that you can earn by playing the game. It's just like, hey, let me just drop fucking $20 or whatever it is to unlock all this stuff, which to me is just idiotic because it defeats the purpose of the game. Like I think, like I wouldn't like in Mortal Kombat 9, I enjoyed playing matches and doing shit over and over and like having fun with the game and then going to the crypt and slowly unlocking shit. Like I don't know why the fuck you would want to spend $20 on that shit. I just don't know why that type of shit exists. But that type of shit is again becoming standard.
Well, like here's the thing. I can understand because there's gonna be somebody out there who's too lazy to just get on the internet and find out the exact coordinates of the crypts that have the other fatalities in them, because there are fatalities in those crypts, just like in MK9. And they're gonna be too lazy to get on the internet, and they're gonna have some money that they can burn. I don't know, like think about it this way. Say you're a parent and you just like your kids are in bed and you've got maybe an hour before you're gonna pass out because you're gonna get up with your kids at 6 a.m. the next day, and you don't want to go through the crypt the entire time, but you have $20 to blow and you don't mind paying for it. If it doesn't hurt you as a gamer and it gives them the opportunity to experience that content for a fee because they don't have the time to put into it, then what's the issue? It doesn't hurt them, and it doesn't hurt anybody, and it helps them experience the game.
Yeah, again, that's like Plants vs Zombies and Mass Effect 3. They both have pretty much the same thing. Like you can just grind your way to get to shit, and it doesn't take that long. But if you don't want to spend 10 hours unlocking a bunch of different characters and shit, you can just drop $20, $30, whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah, exactly. So it's that exact mentality with the crypt, and I mean like you're talking about the easy fatalities and stuff too.
The easy fatalities is the thing I have the biggest issue with. The crypt thing, I don't like it. It's acceptable. The Goro DLC, don't like it, but it's to be expected in this day and age. Here's easy fatalities.
Here's the thing with the easy fatalities, and this is granted. I really think the easy fatalities really only appeal to a niche market, and all right, Kelly loves Mortal Kombat. Kelly's my wife. She loves Mortal Kombat. She loves to be able to play it with me. She is not a very good fighting game person. But she loves doing the fatalities and stuff. And so in MK9, she would always just hand me the controller. There'd be a round where, I just let her win, and she would just, beat me, and she'd be so excited, right? And she'd hand me the controller, and I'd have to enter the fatality for her, because she just was never very good at putting them in, and it's because she's not a fighting gamer. Kelly plays a lot of The Sims and SimCity and Diablo. That's what she focuses on. Yeah, so she's just not good at that rapid button entry, that like Twitch mechanic that fighting players have, or fighting game players have. So for her, let's say that I run into an instance where her and I are playing it, and I ran out of easy fatality tokens. $5 doesn't sound so bad if it lets her enjoy the game. You know what I mean? I wouldn't pay it, but you run across, and that's because I never need to use them, and you run across so many of them that I've already earned 40. I'm never gonna use those 40. It doesn't hurt anybody. It's one of those things. I can kind
of understand that point of view, but if she's playing the game, then she must. I assume she can pull off simple,
she can pull off
Sub-Zero freezing and shit like that.
I'll tell you the extent. She's a button mash fighter. That's all. That's and
she
what
needs
she
to
does.
play Killer Instinct and not Mortal Kombat.
But she loves Mortal Kombat, dude. She loves it. There's something appealing about that game for people that don't necessarily like fighting games, and that's what has made Mortal Kombat for a really long time.
Yes, but
it was the fighting game that you didn't have to enjoy fighting games to play, because it was about the violence, not anything else,
Well, you can honestly say that about a lot of fucking fighting game franchises.
Well, yeah, I guess that's true. But Mortal Kombat, that's always been what it's known for. Not really the competitive aspect, more the whole all right, you guys are sitting around with a group of friends. Not all of them are necessarily gamers, but they want to see what Sub-Zero's new fatality is, because those are iconic characters. They're characters that have evolved beyond just a gaming platform. People know who Sub-Zero is. People know who Goro is, and they know that a new Mortal Kombat game is out. But they may not necessarily be a gamer, so they want to come over. They want to be able to pull this stuff off. It's always I don't know. It's fun bullshit for them, and it's not hurting anybody.
It's so easy to explain it away, and you made absolutely great points. I mean that a new perspective that I didn't really see to it, but which is why I'll come back to the whole reason the whole Goro thing is my big trigger is because.
It's his trigger word.
Fucking trigger word. It's the whole, I don't want to say it's going to set a bad precedent, because it already happens. This shitty microtransactions, weird DLC, that already happens. But I just hate the fact that they forced you. I know you can buy Goro, but they forced you to pre-order something. That's at the point where you can't, speak with your money. If they force you to pre-order the game to get a certain character. They're just taking that choice away from them. And that's the only reason
I agree with your point in terms of something that's valid to get angry about over the rest of the microtransaction bullshit. Because your point is right. You're losing content because you didn't pre-order the game. And I used to get really pissed off about that too at this point. It's something that I've grown to accept and expect, which is that's where the gaming industry is fucking up. This microtransaction bullshit, that doesn't... Whatever, dude. Fuck it. Let people have fun. If they've got money to do it, then fuck it. It's going in a horrible
fucking direction. It's fucking bad. I can kind of... I can understand where you're coming from with that thing earlier, but even you just said, I would not fucking do that. So, again, it's just worthless. And for instance, Kelly, for example, like you said, she's like a button masher, doesn't really know, maybe only knows a move or two, but doesn't doesn't know everyone's move. You're talking like I looked at some of these button lists; they're not that hard. Like it's hitting like 2 buttons instead of hitting like 5. Like it's just idiotic. Like it's not like this ultra combo, killer instinct, everyone's screaming at the top of their lungs.
That's
thing.
her
like
idea of
buttons.
fun though. When she plays any fighting game, is getting in there and looking up maybe 2 moves and either spamming the shit out of those moves over and over again.
Oh yeah, I do that on Killer Instinct.
While jumping across the map, or like just button mashing and seeing where she can go. And she just loves she's like this. She'll here, I'll get it in the camera. She'll just flap all her fingers around and talk shit hardcore, and if she beats me, she jumps up in the air and she's the happiest person on the face of the earth. She doesn't have any idea what she's doing with the game, and it's just because she'll never take the time to actually learn how to play it, because that's just not fun for her. I don't know. Like I said, it's just not. It's one of those things where honestly, if you're a hardcore gamer, you will never need this. If you're a core game, if you're not even a hardcore, if you're just a core gamer, you will never need it. So why does it bother people?
Because it doesn't need to exist. It's 3 more buttons. I'm sorry, but it's just 3 more buttons. Like, it just doesn't need to exist. It's nickel and diming people, setting a precedent for the direction this shit is going. The crypt unlock thing, like we talked about earlier, kind of to be expected. But now with this shit, like, we're getting to the point where, like, the next Battlefield of Duty bullshit, like, there's gonna be a fucking mod that you can buy that fucking makes aiming easier, or fucking what the fuck is the term for it?
No. See, that's different. That's different.
No,
because you're talking about a competitive
I'm
multiplayer game.
Yeah, well, not even Battlefield or Call of Duty. Any game where it makes something easier like that, and not necessarily in a competitive setting. It's getting to the point where anything can be a microtransaction. Like, it's just retarded. I'm sorry, but 2 buttons over 5 is not that big of a deal, especially for like what. It's just idiotic.
It is a big deal because you have to be a certain distance away from the character. You have to be able to press it in rapid
sweeping distance.
No. There's different distance. There's different distances.
I know, but Mortal Kombat is sweeping. Like that's what you.
No, well, in this, it's either mid, long, or short.
Right, but back in the day, it was sweeping distance.
Right. Sweep, jump, all that other shit. But you've got to be a certain distance away from the character. You've got to enter it all in rapid succession. I mean, like, some people just don't have that kind of dexterity. That's really what it comes down to. So it's fun for them to be able to pull off a fatality.
It's 3 more buttons. Sorry, it's 3 more buttons. It's 3 more buttons, man.
You don't even hit those buttons in rapid succession. Like the easy fatalities, you just press both buttons at the same time.
That is just retarded. It's not going in a good direction. it's so dumb. It just sounds fake. Like that's where
it's not that it's headed. That's where it's. It's like it's fucking planted its flag.
It's absolutely
the whole weird, sketchy business aspect of it is what rustled my fucking jimmies. But everything else, it's like that's already going to happen. Gamers will react to it however they do. Calmly, like Palmer, or fucking with a fiery intensity.
Well, let me ask
justified,
you this. How do you feel? Let's look at a game like Battlefield. You can buy those fucking battle packs. You can buy bunches of them, and
anyone that buys
anybody that has premium can just log into the game and find 40 fucking battle packs waiting for them if they don't play for 2 weeks. But they made it an option to be able to buy 40 battle packs if you want to for $50 fucking dollars. Like, why didn't people get all up in arms about that? What's the difference there?
Right, and this is just the flavor of the week. That's why the internet's fucking flaming. But no, people got upset about that. People got upset about the microtransactions in Mass Effect 3. Like, people get upset about this shit, and then they just kind of move on and fucking let it happen. I just think it should be addressed.
The difference is with those battle packs, you can make a difference by choosing to buy or not buy it. It wasn't something that you weren't forced.
Right. We're talking
with the fatality tokens in mind too.
I'm talking
both of those
microtransactions, not the DLC. What? I was telling Jose I'm talking about the microtransaction versus the DLC
of Battlefield.
It's still a microtransaction if you're purchasing battle packs.
Right. Well, DLC is content. Like, it's actual, like...
I'm still stuck on the whole Goro thing. You're
Right.
out one
Right.
character because you didn't pre-order. You didn't get the option of choosing to pay for the game or not paying for the game because of how you felt about it.
Well, how do you feel about the rest of the DLC for it? You're out 4 characters if you don't buy the next DLC pack.
But that one is a little more justified because they haven't even made those characters yet. They're still working on it.
Supposedly.
I guarantee you those assets are in there.
Oh, yeah. Especially after...
I think so. I'm sure it'll be a pretty big download because, it just makes sense.
Well, wasn't all the downloads, aside from, like, the initial download, like, marked as DLC, too? Like, the 30 things you had to download were marked as DLC. They probably had, like, 2 actual characters in the game, and then every character was marked as DLC. That's what the fuck that was. No, but as with the battle packs, just to point out, with the battle packs and with these fatality tokens, both can be earned in game. It's just a way to get many or some of them quicker. Because Battlefield, you leveled up and stuff, and with Mortal Kombat, it's all crypt stuff. If I'm not mistaken.
Right? Yeah. So this is just a way to get all the crypt stuff quicker. I don't
stuff quicker.
The crypt series.
It's just idiotic, and it doesn't need to exist.
I agree. Honestly, just put the fucking cheat code back in the game that just lets you do one-button fatalities. Like, remember those days when you could just enter a cheat code in your Sega Genesis and you only would have to hit a button and the fatalities would just erupt?
No, that was Scrub Lord territory.
Oh god!
Bring back
down, back,
yeah, dude.
That was
Game
Scorpion's
Shark,
first fatality. I still remember that shit. Down, back, B, or down,
block
back,
up,
down, B.
Block, yeah, block up. That was his hood.
Or was it Sub-Zero? Someone was down, back, down B. I think it was Sub-Zero then. I think it was the one where he fucking shattered you or whatever.
Yeah, probably.
Which one was Smoke or Cyrax? The red cyborg?
Cyrax, yeah.
It was like block up, jump forward, jump or something. And it was the one that like blew up the world. You remember that fatality?
That was Smoke.
Was that Smoke? Okay.
So, it was Cyborg Smoke.
Cyborg Smoke.
So that's my point. Kids growing up with this shit, they're not going to be like, "Hey, remember that?" No, it's going to be like, "Hey, remember you got the token, you pressed the 2 buttons, and that was it."
Yeah,
it's dumb.
You're right. In talking about shaping the next generation of gaming, you're entirely correct.
They're going to be brainless zombies.
But
case in
know.
point.
But there's always going to be that option for the hardcore gamers that exists, something along lines like Dota, where it is actually a skill-based thing versus anything else.
Mortal Kombat's supposed to be a skill-based thing. That's the whole point of
Mortal
Kombat.
The fighting is still a skill-based thing. The fatality itself, fuck it, who cares? Press 1 button or press 5, it doesn't matter.
Honestly, when I was growing up, that was the whole cool thing, was you knew the fatality. And like the first Mortal Kombat, there were like secrets and shit. You had to like discover them in the game. There was like the internet was still on its fucking spawning days. Like, good luck with that shit. You had to figure all that shit out and like talk to your stupid friends across a stupid street.
Getting the blood code for Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, like getting all that shit. That was so fucking cool, and that just doesn't exist anymore. Now it's microtransactions. That's why I'm annoyed. It's just
you're talking about in terms of shaping a future gaming audience. I totally agree. But honestly, like there's still gonna be kids that are growing up though that actually give a shit about video games, that are always gonna prize skill over everything else. So I mean, I don't know. It's just making games accessible to everybody, charging a fee for it. It's like a stupid tax is basically the way that I view it. Like, you're dumb here, pay to do this. Yeah, I don't know.
I put way too many hours in Dota to have all these casual shitlords fucking up my codes and whatnot.
Well, do we have any crowd interaction? Do we have anything?
We've had it all. We've gone for 2 hours. I think we're done. But yes, we've had a few people pop in. Farsendar's been here the whole time.
Yeah, have we? Well, I'm talking about in terms of questions and stuff here.
I've been bringing them up as. That's what I do. I bring them up as we cast.
Oh, okay. All right. Well,
I don't know if you knew that.
I don't know, Tim. I don't know. This was a super long one. Look at us running all the way to midnight.
We should have started with Mortal Kombat. I don't know why we didn't. That was pretty much the last
I've been
hour.
like 2 minutes behind every conversation we've had trying to find. I've got like all the fucking Old Republic stats. I've got the minimum requirements for fucking killing floor. Of course, I got this all like after we stopped talking about it. So
That's funny. All right, well, learn to Google faster, Jose. I don't know
My
what to
Google
tell
flu
you.
is weak.
Pay to Google. Pay to Google.
Yeah, because that's not out of the realm of fucking possibility.
Well,
Unlock easy Googling.
We can talk about the antitrust thing in Europe, where like the EU is gonna like sue the shit out of Google because of weird business practices.
Wait, what?
Yeah, we're gonna pay to Google at some point, I think, just to justify them.
This is all your
putting
fault,
Google
Walmart.
products, a priority in their search engines.
Oh Jesus.
Are you going to be streaming Mortal Kombat 10?
Yeah, I can actually probably stream that for a little bit tonight.
I was
before
just
I get
surprised
off.
you were doing that earlier because you were so super duper hyped for this game.
Well, I've been playing it on PS4, and I don't have all of the camera and everything set up over there yet. I did move. I am still unpacking. So I haven't really been streaming on the PS4 side of things.
But now that it's actually working on PC.
But yeah, now
Can
it's
you
working on
connect your
PC. I'll jump on
webcam,
and go for it.
through the PS4? And
You have to actually buy a PS or PlayStation's camera.
Yeah, it's the same thing as Xbox. You buy the Kinect, and then
Yeah, it's not $150 fucking dollars. So like the goddamn Kinect is. I think last time I checked on Amazon, it was $35.
my Xbox is now a Roku. That's all it is. That's all it's good for.
And it's actually
until I get some information of Master Chef Collection being completely fine.
they're actually finally getting around to implementing like all the shit that Kinect has through the PlayStation camera, so I can turn my PlayStation on with voice commands.
Are they still do the eye thing, or did they change that? I remember there was
No, it's
PlayStation Eye for
a
minute.
whole new camera. It's a really really well designed camera.
Camera.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. I want to really lay down some praise for a second here. NetherRealm, one last thing, really knows how to nail a fucking collector's edition. They had a collector's edition that was $180 that came with the game as well as a very very detailed statue and a metallic tin and like a limited print and a comic book and a few other things. But on top of all of that, the collector's edition came with all of the DLC.
How many fatality tokens did you get, Palmer?
I didn't get any fatality.
And it didn't come with all the DLC, did it, Palmer?
Tim, I've got so many
Zing!
of them. It came with all the fighting packs. I just want to praise NetherRealm real quick because, god damn it, you guys did so well with this collector's edition. I'm gonna get this statue on camera right here real quick. Look at the detail on this thing. This thing is huge. This thing is awesome as fuck. Like, I was totally okay with just getting this, you know? Like, I was expecting just this in the game, and the fact that all the DLC came with it was just like a little perk that I didn't even know about. And these guys, like, we talked a few casts ago about, like, why people weren't doing collector's editions anymore and how stupid they were becoming. But then you have a company that releases something quality like this. This is really, I can't emphasize how much quality is in this statue here. Like it's not hollow. It's very well designed. Like there's good placement on everything. Like the character model's beautiful. There's so much detail. Like hold on, let me see if I can show you guys like all the detail in the mask.
You know how happy I would be if you dropped that thing right now?
And
like the laugh that would come out of it.
And like, you know, look at all this, like even like the rock and like the skeleton and stuff underneath him, like this is a really well done collector's edition, and I'm really glad I sprung for it. It makes me want to get collector's editions from NetherRealm Studios in the future because they really cater towards their audience, and I really wish more companies would release collector's editions like this. Don't give me a shitty tin. Don't give me a shitty fucking, you know, pack of cards. Or like postcards, like fucking some, like what was it, Bioshock Infinite? Bioshock Infinite gave you fucking postcards for $90 fucking. All you got was postcards and like something else. I can't even remember, some other
great,
piece
though.
of
You got
shit.
a vinyl with the second one.
So I mean, like companies, it's not that people don't want collector's editions. It's that people want good collector's editions. Know your audience. Know that collector's edition means you've got to give somebody something that's truly collectible. and
Yeah,
nail
like
it.
we've mentioned before, especially like nowadays, like it's we live in a very digital age. Like a lot, even console users, a lot of people don't go to like their fucking GameStops anymore and get their games that they pre-ordered. It's all digital and like collector's editions. I don't know. It just seems like it's like a lot of collector's editions nowadays have no physical products. It's all like a special skin or like DLC unlock or shit like that.
Oh, that was the other thing. It gave me a special Scorpion skin, which is really fucking awesome in game. Oh, and it's like a limited run, so I'm sure like down the road they'll offer that skin as like DLC for people like just digitally. But like for right now, I don't think they have that on the store, and it's really cool to be able to jump in multiplayer with that, and people are just like, wow, it's awesome. I love it. It's great.
Well, all right. I think we're coming to a close as this has been a fucking 2-hour cast.
Yeah. Well, thanks for tuning in, those that did, and thanks for bearing with us for this extended Wednesday edition of the DMM live cast. So you can follow Dark Mushroom Media at Dark Mushroom on Twitter.
Dark_mushroom. Get your
Yeah,
shit together.
Dark_mushroom.